Good morning, students. Now we are going to study about the structure of eukaryotic cell. In the last lecture, we studied about the two types of the cell. That is cell types we studied. There are two types. First one, prokaryotic cell, and second one is eukaryotic cell. Okay. In last lecture, we studied about the details of prokaryotic cell. Now we are going to study about the details of eukaryotic cell. You are very well known to that. This eukaryotic cell, it is of two types. First one, plant cell, and second one is the animal cell. Okay. Now, when we studied about the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, the basic difference is that the prokaryotic cell, it consists of nucleus, which is false nucleus, and this false nucleus, it consists of the false nucleus, that is, in case of this nucleus, nuclear membrane, it is absent. Okay, and eukaryotic cell, it consists of true nucleus. Which nucleus? True nucleus, that is nuclear material, it is enveloped by the nuclear membrane. Hence this nucleus is called as true nucleus. Okay. Now we are going to study about the detailed structure of eukaryotic cell. Okay. Now the one important thing is that in this eukaryotic cell there are the structures present, in which first one structure, see, the eukaryotic cell, it consists of outermost covering, cell wall. This cell wall is present in only plant cells. Okay. And second one structure, that is plasma membrane. This plasma membrane, it is present in animal cell. Okay. These are the same structure. Okay. Difference is that cell wall is present in plant cell and plasma membrane is present in animal cell. Okay. Then second one part, this plasma membrane, it encloses the liquid part of the cell, which is called as cytoplasm. What it called as? It is called as cytoplasm, and in this cytoplasm there is presence of different cell organelles. Okay, means inside the cell there is presence of the different cell organelles. Suppose this is the outermost covering of the cell, and this covering, if it is animal cell, it is plasma membrane. Okay. And inside this plasma membrane, the liquid part or the part, protoplasmic part, it is called as cytoplasm. Okay. And if it is animal cell, instead of plasma membrane, cell wall is present. Okay. Now means in case of eukaryotic cell, the outermost covering is plasma membrane, and this plasma membrane, it encloses the cytoplasm. Okay. Now this cytoplasm internally consists of double walled layer. This is called as nuclear membrane. Hence this nucleus is true nucleus. Okay. And inside this another one smaller nucleus is present. It is called as nucleolus. and inside this there is presence of the genetic material. Okay, this is total structure, it is nucleus. Now other structures are present in the cytoplasm. Here there is presence of the mitochondria. What is this structure? This is mitochondria. Okay, then here is the presence of such type of reticular structure. It is called as endoplasmic reticulum. What is called as endoplasmic reticulum. Also there is endomembrane system like structures are present. These structures, these are called as Golgi complex. What is called as Golgi complex. Along with all these, there are different structures, that is cell organelles. For example, lysosomes. Which cell organelle is present? Lysosome. Also there is presence of the particle responsible for protein synthesis, that is called as ribosomes. Okay, ribosomes are also present. Inside this, at certain places, vacuoles are also present. What is present? Vacuoles. Okay, such type of different cell organelles. Okay, all these cell organelles, they are suspended in the cytoplasm, and this cytoplasm, it is bounded by the plasma membrane. Okay, now hence we are going to study about the first one structure, that is outermost covering, which is called as plasma membrane. Means what is the structure of plasma membrane, or how it appears under the microscope, which are the parts. In the first one part, that is plasma membrane of the eukaryotic cell. Okay. Now first we studied about that plasma membrane. It is present only in animal cell. Where it is present? It is present in animal cell, and it is absent in the plant cell. Okay. In case of plant cell wall is present. Okay, and this cell wall, it is made up of from the three layers, that is primary cell wall, then secondary cell wall, and middle lamella. Okay, these are the three layers. These are present in the cell wall of the animal cell, and there are different chemicals by which this cell wall is in plant cell it is made up of. In case of animal cell, there is presence of the plasma membrane, and this plasma membrane, it acts as supporting and protective covering. What is plasma membrane? This plasma membrane, it is supporting and protective covering of the eukaryotic cell. Okay. Now, when scientists studied about the structure and function of plasma membrane, the two scientists, that is Singer and Nicholson, in 1972. These two scientists studied about the structure of plasma membrane, and this structure of plasma membrane they described as fluid mosaic model. Remember, this is important point. The plasma membrane structure, it is recognized as fluid mosaic model. Now actually, what is the fluid mosaic model, or which structure they appear under electron microscope? Okay. Now see, when they appear this plasma membrane under the microscope, there is appearance of the trilaminar structure. What appears? There is appearance of the trilaminar structure. Now what is lamina? Lamina, that is layers. In this plasma membrane, there are two layers. Okay. Now, there are three layers, from which two are the lipid layer. Okay. And one layer is protein layer. Two layers are lipid layers. One layer is protein layer. These are two lipid layers, also called as bilipid layer, because layers are two. This is bilipid layer. Now in these two layers, whatever the lipids are present, these lipids are phospholipid molecules. Which type of lipid is present? Phospholipid molecules. Okay. Now, when you observe this phospholipid molecule, it consists of such type of head, and this head is hydrophilic in nature. And along with this, there is presence of a small tail-like structure. This tail is hydrophobic in nature. Okay. Means there is presence of two lipid layers. These lipid molecules are phospholipid molecule. And if you observe a single lipid molecule, it shows the globular part, which is called as head. It is hydrophilic in nature, and elongated part, tail, that is hydrophobic in nature. Okay. Now what happens? These two layers in which these molecules are present, they are arranged as like this. Suppose this is first layer of the lipid, then this is second layer of the lipid, and arrangement of these lipid molecules is each molecule having its head to outer surface. Which surface? Outer surface. In both the layers. Okay. In this layer also, heads are appear at the outer surface as like this. Okay. These are head region. And their tails, these are faces to inner surface. As like this, the tails of these phospholipid molecules, these are present here. Okay. Now, the second one layer, it also consists of tail. It faces towards the first one layer. Means at the inner surface, tail ends, and at the outer surface, there is presence of head of the phospholipid molecules. Okay. Such type of the two layers of the phospholipid molecules we observe. Now this is head region. These two are the tails. This is again head. Okay. This is first layer. If you observe, this is first lipid layer, and this is second lipid layer. Hence it is called as bilipid structure. Now when we observe this under the microscope, all these molecules appears as like this, and the head parts of each molecule we can observe here as like this, and tail ends, these are present toward the inner surface. Okay, these are the two lipid layers. Now, the one layer is protein layer. Which layer? Protein layer. Now, this protein layer, it consists of three types of the proteins. First one, eccentric protein. Second one, intrinsic protein. And third one, that is tunnel proteins. Okay, means these are the protein molecules. These are present in scattered condition in the lipid molecules. Okay. Now, these extrinsic proteins, these are mostly present at the external surfaces, as like this. The intrinsic proteins are also present, and sometime at here the larger protein molecules we observe, these are called as tunnel proteins. Which are these proteins? These are tunnel proteins. Okay, means the extrinsic proteins, they are found on two surfaces of the membrane. Then intrinsic protein, these are tightly bound to the phospholipid bilayer, and tunnel proteins, these are found across the entire thickness of the phospholipid layer. Okay. Now, such type of plasma membrane, it is present in the animal cell, and the model, it is investigated by the scientists known as Singer and Nichols. Okay. Now, I think you are very clear about this structure of the plasma membrane. Okay. This is structural points. You have to also draw the figure in your notebook, that is fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane. Okay. Now, after completion of the structural points of the plasma membrane, next point we are going to study about, that is what is the function of plasma membrane. Which is the next point? Functions of the plasma membrane. Means how this plasma membrane it functions in case of the animal cell. Okay. See, the first important function of the plasma membrane, it is to give shape and protection to the cell. What it gives? It gives shape and protection to the cell, or it gives limited boundary to the internal structures of the cell. Now, second one, main function of the plasma membrane, it is transport of molecules. See, this function, it is very important, or this is the main function of the plasma membrane, that is transport of the molecule. Now, what is meant by transport of molecule? See, sometimes this is cell. Okay, this is plasma membrane. Inside this cytoplasm is present. From this cytoplasm, some of the molecules goes outside the cell. Okay. At that time, they have to cross this plasma membrane. Okay. Sometimes the molecules enter inside the cell. At that time, they cross the plasma membrane. Okay. Means if you observe, suppose this is plasma membrane. Here are the certain molecules, here are the certain molecules. The movement of molecules across this plasma membrane, it is called as transport. What it called as transport. And this movement of the molecule is possible because plasma membrane is selectively permeable. How the plasma membrane is present? Plasma membrane is selectively permeable. Means what? That is through this membrane there is entry or exit of certain molecules. It is allowed. Okay. It is selectively permeable or it is selectively semi-permeable because it allows the transport of the molecules across the plasma membrane. Okay. Now, when transport of molecule takes place, see, in case of this transport across this plasma membrane, this transport, it is of two types. First one type, that is passive transport. Which transport? Passive transport. And second one is active transport. Okay, passive transport and active transport. These are the two methods by which the transport of molecule across the plasma membrane takes place. Okay, now see. In case of the passive transport, what is meant by passive transport? It is simply called as simple diffusion. What it called as simple diffusion means there is no need of energy, that is without spending energy the molecules can transport or can move. Okay, it is very important type, that is without spending energy whatever the molecule movement takes place, it is called as passive transport. Okay, and what is meant by active transport? In case of active transport, when there is transport of the molecule, these molecules need or requires energy for the transport, and this type of transport is called as active transport. For example, if you observe the Na plus or K plus form, sodium and potassium form, when these ions transfer or move across this membrane, they require the energy, and such type of transport is called as active transport. Okay, now these are the two types of the transport, that is first one passive transport and second one is the active transport. Okay, and by this method number of molecular movements takes place in case of the plasma membrane. Okay, now see, in case of the plasma membrane you have to remind, first thing is that plasma membrane is the outermost protective covering of the animal cell, and it is having the structure fluid mosaic model. What is fluid mosaic model? It consists of three layers, from which two layers are lipid layer and one layer is the protein layer. These two lipid layers, these molecules are phospholipid molecules. Okay, and these phospholipid molecules consist of head and tail. Head present at the outer surface. Okay, and tail faces inner surface towards the each other, and in this there is presence of the such type of three types of the proteins. What is this? These are the three type of the proteins. These proteins are extrinsic, intrinsic and tunnel proteins. Okay, in functions, that is first function is to give shape and protection to the cell, and second one main function, that is transport of the molecule. This transport it is of two type. First one passive transport, second one active transport. In passive transport, there is no need of energy of the molecules to move across the membrane, but in case of active transport, it requires the energy for the movement. Okay, I think you are clear about this. In your notebook, you have to draw the diagram of fluid mosaic model and also note down the structure and functions of the plasma membrane. Okay, the next part, that is under the plasma membrane, there is enclosing of the cytoplasm. What are the detailed structures of the cytoplasm? We will see in the next lecture.